Question: if a woman has a high risk pregnancy where she and the baby are at risk and she is constantly in pain and ill and chooses to have an abortion, is it a sin? The natural Gee, this is a hard question. It's hard, not because I think it has a hard answer. It's emotionally difficult. Yes, I think it's a sin. Again, uh, all of our sins are forgiven, past, present, and future by Jesus Christ. So, the question is the abortion in this instance morally permissible? From my understanding and from the things that I've read, the literature I've read, uh, um, abortions are almost always never medically necessary. I mean, we're talking about the vast minority of the case. In the situation that you have, you actually kind of described my wife's pregnancy. She For 3 of the 4 babies, she was high risk. Phoebe, my second oldest, she tried to come really early, so she was on Rihanna had to be given progesterone shots once a week to stave off the labor, the contractions, and those hurt. And she wasn't feeling fantastic. And her first doctor, was really great. He used to say, because she wasn't feeling good with Eva, my oldest, and it was rough. And so he always said, "Well, I'm sorry, Rihanna, but pregnancy is riddled with discomfort," is what he used to tell her, and I used to love it, and because it was good for Rihanna to hear that. He was a good doctor for her. But anyways, pregnancy is um, can be hard. It's hard for a lot of people, but just because it's hard, does that justify the taking of the innocent human life? Um, and these are hard decisions. Like, that's the other thing I want to be clear, that I know that these are hard decisions. They're very personal, very emotional, and there are consequences to them. But just because pregnancy is really hard and maybe you're really sick and you're high risk and you have to stay in bed for 10 weeks, and you can't do anything, and whatever it might be, does that justify the taking of that innocent human life? And I would say, does having a hard life, struggling through life, justify the taking of any other child's life, a 2-year-old child? You could say this is the same thing, right? You're having a really difficult time in life in general. You're not feeling well at all. You're stressed out to the max, like seriously stressed, medically depressed, clinically depressed, because one of the contributing factors is maybe a child is in a particular stage of life that's extremely difficult. Is it appropriate or ever warranted to take the life of that child? Of course not. The same is true for the unborn child. So um, these are hard. I think oftentimes, certainly in the realm of Christian apologetics, I feel like we lead into these conversations. Thanks for this, natural Gee. Um, we can be kind of cold, and we want to make sure we don't lose that. And I think I said it earlier, right? Behind every one of these objections, behind every one of these statements, behind every one of these arguments is a person, and you don't know what that person's been through or is going through. I used to stand regularly. I used to stand outside of an abortion mill, and do pro life apologetics there, and hoping to talk to people. But I heard like horror stories. I mean, just absolutely. I mean, a lot of the time. I mean, some of the time it's just totally elective abortions, and women are like, whatever. I've talked to a woman and her husband. Literally, they had 2 kids in the car, and she was being dropped off to have an abortion. And the guy, anyways, it was not a good scene. And they were just like, we want to do what we want. I don't care. And like, there's certainly that, but the most of the people that I speak with, and most of the people that I've spoken to, are in a hard place. It's not easy, and they don't come to these decisions lightly. So I think it's good for us to have empathy and lead with that empathy and compassion for people, and not ever, um, at the cost of truth. But I think oftentimes in Christian apologetics we can come across as cold, um, and then it's important also to become informed. understand in your area, if you're gonna have these conversations with somebody, understand the resources that are available to you in your area. Like in my area, I know that I personally, I have their phone numbers in my phone, lawyers and doctors, and who will help for free. I have people that are willing to house a young lady, and for up to 9 months after the birth of her child. Um, so stuff like that. I've got people that'll help with adoptions for free. So it's good to have those resources available. So when you do talk to somebody and then they bring up like one of those objections, which I think are valid objections, are you going to help out? You're like, yes, I want to help out. How can I help? Let's hear the resources that are available.